Welcome back to another edition of our Face Off. This is Sportmentary, and joining me from Winnipeg is the Comish.
I am here.
Well, as we discussed before going live, we just decided we're going to do a coach's hot seat, the revolving door of NFL coaches, so to speak. And you and I picked 5 NFL coaches that we believe will be fired. And I'm going to start off with the first one, Andy Reid. Definitely on the hot seat. Won't be fired mid-season. Don't think it's going to happen. Too much loyalty there. But he will be fired at the end of the season. I just don't agree with it necessarily. I'd like to see one more year with Andy Reid. I think he deserves that. I think he's earned that. His record has earned that. He's turned Philadelphia into from a joke into usually a gimme playoff team. Probably people expect them to at least win their conference and possibly make the Super Bowl. I just think you give him a little more time. He's made mistakes, granted. He's gone through a lot of turmoil. This is a guy that's extremely loyal to the players before him and with him, and he takes care of his guys. I think he deserves that loyalty. He's gone through, as we said, a lot this year, and I just think let's see him come back for another year. That's my take on Andy Reid.
I don't know how you can have him back after I think he should have been fired after last year when he moved Juan Castillo from offensive coordinator to defensive coordinator with no experience. That was a bonehead move. I think we've talked about this before. I'm not a fan of Michael Vick. I think he's athletic and has great skill, but he doesn't apply himself. This team has too many offensive weapons to be focused on Michael Vick and his inability to read a defense or unwillingness to study a defense so he knows what to expect. You can't just rely on Michael Vick's legs. You got to use your offensive weapons. They need a quarterback. I think they need a quarterback who could just manage the game, not one who has to take control of the game.
I think the problem is with their offensive line, and I guess you could blame Andy Reid for it, but I don't think the problem's the quarterback here. I think the problem's
they have issues with offensive line through injury and that type of thing,
and their defense is just terrible. It's porous.
But it starts with the quarterback.
But and I'm gonna say that
look at Indianapolis with a rookie quarterback who's got talent and plays within himself.
That's different. Than rookie quarterbacks have come out and played good years, and then they'll have bad years, and you can't really look at that. And the structure of their teams might be different, or the game calling might be different. Don't forget, Michael Vick doesn't call his own plays. He's not Peyton Manning, So
I think we'll agree to disagree.
But I will say one thing, and this is a question to you, and I look at Andy Reid's face right now, and it shows me, get me the hell out of Dodge. I don't even know if Andy Reid's invested anymore. I can read the stress in his face, and he does not look like he's enjoying himself out there.
Well, what's to enjoy? His team is going through another bad year, and they're closer to getting the first pick in the draft than a playoff spot. So
all I say is the guy lost his son this year, and we're parents, and I you know what? I don't know how the guy goes out there and deals with all this stuff when dealing with the pain of losing his son. So I'm just going to say that there's a human element to this, a very serious human element, and maybe he does need a year away from coaching to deal with all the issues that he's had to deal with on a personal level. Moving right along, Norv Turner. This to me is the easiest fire on this list, all right, that we're going to continue to go through. Norv Turner, in my mind, we've talked about this before, I believe should have been fired years ago. I've told you this for a number of years. Never been a big fan of Norv Turner. I think that Norv Turner's had a better team than he is a coach. The fact that he's made playoffs, it should be an easy deal. Maybe not as much this year, but in years past, it should have been an easy deal to at least get to the Super Bowl with what he's had. Totally blown it. The guy is not an emotional guy. I don't know if his team even knows if he is happy or sad. He finally had an outburst, which is good for the team, but it's too late. Okay? Now it's too late. The team's not going to make the playoffs. It's almost impossible for them to make the playoffs. He should be fired. He is a disappointment.
Well, I'm not going to disagree with you. I just think that the atmosphere in San Diego isn't a winning One, they accept mediocrity, or they accept a good regular season. They don't really care how far they get. It's this combination of the ownership and the fans just being too laid back. It's too nice in San Diego.
I don't think the fans are laid back though. I think the fans are frustrated. It's their
I
their
don't
owner
see
seems to be in love with North Turner. I don't get it.
You look at Philadelphia fans, they're passionate, they care. They'll boo Santa Claus. But
Yeah,
I don't know
but
that San
they'll
Diego
also throw
fans,
snowballs and beat them up, won't they?
well, they just seem to lack passion, and it's ironic that he has a good start this year
Got the wrong team though. It should be Philadelphia.
after notoriously slow starts, but I think you can put a fork in them. They're done, but Norv will be back next year.
Oh, whatever. It's good for them having North back. Then you can just say that they'll be dismal again.
Well,
The next coach on the list.
if he wasn't fired after that New Orleans loss or the Denver loss, how could
I don't. You know what?
We've
We've talked about this before. I think when it comes to a coach, unlike maybe a general manager, when it comes to a coach, the guy's on the sideline every game, and the team, they like him. I really do think the team likes him. I think what good does it do to fire him now?
Well, the fact is that
I think we call that debacle against Denver bad. I say that the last game against Tampa Bay was even worse. A block punt, throwing a pick six interception or whatever it was that what's his name threw to a defender. The guy was basically nobody there. I don't even know why you don't throw it away or what you do. Rivers made a colossal mistake. It's mistakes like that game in, game out. Every year that they're making critical mistakes that cost them the right to do better. And that's on the coach. Eventually that comes down to the coach. But let's move on. I mean, I don't want to waste time with North Turner. I don't think he deserves it. Jason Garrett of the Cowboys. For me, I do think he's on the hot seat, and it could go either way. I mean, I think if they make the playoffs this year somehow, he might get a chance.
I guess you're talking over Mike Singletary. That was.
I heard Michael Singletary. He's another. Woo. All right, but Jason Garrett. All right, on the list that we're going through, to me, Jason Garrett is the one guy on the list that I think, even taking Andy Reid or anyway, this guy shouldn't be on the hot list. And the reason I say that is, how many coaches have the Cowboys had with the same crew in force that have not been successful? You can't say that he has a stamp on this team. He's put his mark on this team. This is a team that's had the same lineup now for many years. I'm talking about core players on offense and the same old situation. So I don't put this on Garrett. I actually know who I put this on. I put this on the owner / general manager. Hire a damn GM guy and let that guy handle the football, the day-to-day football operations. And you step back. That's what I think is the problem in Dallas.
To say Jerry Jones is the problem is an understatement. He has his nose stuck way too far into this business. And what is his football background? What's his pedigree? Where does he get off becoming the GM?
Well, he's a billionaire, so I guess that gives him the expertise,
They're winning in spite of him. But the fact is, Garrett is now, I believe, 17-16 in his career as a head coach with the Cowboys. And I don't know what he's doing with the team that he has. I don't think there's a reason he should be fired.
I agree.
The expectations that this is not a Super Bowl team. I'm sorry. Tony Romo is not he's a good quarterback, but he's not consistent enough. Too many turnovers. They do have some rookies on defense. They're not ready for a Super Bowl, and there shouldn't be any expectation that they should be in the Super Bowl. And with the way the Giants are playing, there's a good chance that the Cowboys will be in the running for that NFC East.
They're not out of it. The problem with the team is a game like, and we go back this year, It's the same thing that's happened all year, and it's happened last year, and it's happened the year before. It happened before Garrett. This is a team that will win a big, huge game. You finally think that Romo and company are making the turn, and then they'll play the next game, and you go, is this the same team that I saw a week ago? You know, they started the season and they beat the Giants, don't forget, and everybody thought, whoa, maybe Dallas is for real this year, right? And then all of a sudden it comes crashing down. So this win that they had yesterday on Sunday against Philadelphia, seriously, it was Philadelphia, okay? Let's just put it out there. I don't know what this means. Let's see what happens this week. But I just don't think it's Garrett's fault. I think it's the owner's fault. And I think what happens is you go many years, you go a couple decades, and you run a team, you've had some success early on, and you think that you're the man, and he's not the man. So anyway, on to the next guy. And the next guy is a guy I love to hate. Rex Ryan, the big mouth. This is a guy that he's on the hot seat. Now, I don't know if he'll be fired because you got another dimwit owner who'll probably keep him. But let's go back to when Rex Ryan was hired as coach of the Jets. Basically said they would win the Super Bowl, right? He said he's going to take them to the promised land. He's going to win the Super Bowl. He always shoots his mouth up, right? Big talker. Nothing to show from it. This past week, NFL players voted him the most overrated coach in the NFL, and I agree with that. The guy's a big mouth on the sidelines, a big mouth in press conferences, just a big mouth. Okay, I don't like him. All right, and he's a trash talker. And last year was, to me, the circus that he created last year by pitting players against each other, thinking that would motivate him. What a moron! This year, he has his brain, the light bulb goes off, and he's like, let's bring Tim Tebow into town. Like, that's going to help the situation.
And that wasn't his idea. In fact, he's doing everything to ensure that Tim Tebow doesn't play quarterback.
But
he's going on the record saying Mark Sanchez is their guy.
He's got a guy that is a terrible, terrible quarterback. You know, Mark Stinkches is terrible.
I don't think Sanchez is as bad. I think Sanchez needs a change of scenery. He's got the tools. Kind of reminds me of a Tony Romo.
Oh, come on. We said Tony Romo's inconsistent. Let's not badmouth Tony Romo by putting Sanchez in the same conversation with that.
Who does Sanchez have to throw to? They've given him...
year in, year out, who's he had? I mean, sure, he's got some injuries. This guy's a bonehead. This guy makes bad calls. He costs his team games. He is, he's not the guy. I really don't think so. I've never liked him. That's it. I say but I know what? But who cares about Sanchez? Fire Rex Ryan. He's not the guy. He's not proving himself to be a good coach.
I'm going to say this about that. I think he still has the dressing room. I think it was last week that Antonio Cromartie said, hey, we can still make the playoffs.
No, he guaranteed it.
Did he guarantee it?
Yeah. That's why you don't have the locker room. These guys are a bunch of trash talkers.
Wow.
You know, a coach is supposed to rein these morons in, wouldn't you think?
I'm not going to disagree with you. I've never liked Rex Ryan. I won't miss him if he's gone. But I will say that if he's fired, don't be surprised if he doesn't show up in a place like Philadelphia.
Oh, please. You know what? The only thing that he should be warming up right now is a couch and not a seat on the sideline. Seriously, I want that guy out of there. But it's the New York Jets, so maybe they should keep him, because you know what I think about the Jets. I laugh when they lose, so maybe they should keep him there. We have one more on the list. Romeo Crennel, all right? I don't know too much about Crennel, I'll be honest. I don't know if he's a nice guy or not. He seems like he could be a nice guy, right? I don't know.
Seems like a decent man.
He looks like a decent guy. Not good enough. Not good enough for the NFL, as we know. This guy, was he not coach of Cleveland? Am I wrong? Was he a coach of the Browns?
I'll have to look into that. I don't recall, but
I think he was. Maybe my Well, I'm going to say he was coach of the Browns, right? And where did that land him?
He might have been an assistant there.
Okay.
Oh no, he started off in.
Wait. He's
Where
not
did
doing.
he start off in Baltimore?
I don't know. Look it up. Anyway, he's not doing a job in Kansas City. This is. I liken the Chiefs situation almost to the Chargers situation. And yesterday was an example of that. This is a game against Pittsburgh that they should have won, but for boneheaded plays and dumb decisions and a dumb interception at the end. They should have won that game, and they shoot themselves in the foot. I personally don't think that they're going to win with him. And
I think the sign that his time might be done is that penalty for excessive celebration on that non-fumble. It just shows that this team is. I guess it's a team that wants to win, but there's something missing in Kansas City, and I think it all started when they hired Todd Haley. He set them on a downward spiral. Matt Castle is not the answer there, and Romeo Crennel might have seen his last days in San Diego or in Kansas City. I'm thinking he's the perfect coach for San Diego.
All right, I looked it up. He was a coach for the Browns. He was defensive coordinator.
Right. I just found that too. Exactly.
So anyway,
he also was in New England for 3 of their Super Bowl victories.
All right. Well, I'm just counting that. I'm only considering recent history here.
No, but you got to look. I think our next show should be about coaches who worked for Bill Parcells for Belichick that have failed. You got Crennel. No, the list is long, and it goes to show what genius Belichick is.
You know,
Josh McDaniels.
Comish, I that'll be your task to put something together for another one of our shows, and we could tackle that. Once we have a little more. I'll do a little more research than I did today. I blew it with the canal. But anyway, I think we both agree that he's underachieving in Kansas City. Now, I mean, maybe I'm a little harsh. Should he be fired? Maybe you give him one more year as well. I don't know. The fans are not happy. The Kansas City is different to San Diego and a lot of towns. These Chiefs fans are very loyal, but it's also a tough city. I mean, seriously, you get concussed on the field and it's your own player and you're cheering because you want the backup coming onto the field. So we have people there. They're not taking this stuff. I don't think they'll take it if he comes back another year. They want to win now, and they're impatient. They've had some terrible years there. Maybe it is a time for a change in Kansas City. But anyway,
I'm going to say that the Kansas City Chiefs used to be a team that you could rally behind, but they seem to be going in the wrong direction. How's that?
All right. So now we got the tiebreaker, because we got the tiebreaker. I think you and I both think Norv Turner and Rex Ryan are the ones that we think should be the ones that are fired. I mean, if you could do a pecking order and you had to pick 1 or 2 coaches, I think you and I believe Norv Turner or Rex Ryan, and this I think is going to surprise you. Out of those 2 coaches, I'm going to say that Norv Turner deserves to go. Why don't I think Rex Ryan? I do believe Rex Ryan took his team to 2 AFC championships. I might be wrong. He really hasn't had a long stint in New York, and maybe he's going to be able to blossom, take these couple years of bad football and learn from it. Hopefully he'll be rid of the Tebow and Sanchez eras and be able to move on and really mold the team. So I would say that of the 2, Rex Ryan, no. I mean, if we had to pick the 2. Norv Turner, I think on this list right now, Norv Turner is the one that has to absolutely go. I don't know if you have a different take than that, but here's your minute to.
No, I'm going to close with if I was going to fire coaches, Andy Reid, Norv Turner. Then it's a toss up between Jason Garrett's going to get the year because I think they're looking at the Sean Payton thing. There's smoke about that. So if Sean Payton becomes available, see you later, Garrett. And then Kansas City's been awful the last 10 years. Let's face it, except for the fluking it out one year where they finished first place 2 years ago. And then you'll probably see Rex Ryan. Rex Ryan's not gonna. He'll be in there for another year or so. So yeah, my prime candidates would be Andy Reid first on the list.
Oh, all right. Anyway, you and I can obviously disagree with this Andy Reid deal. Anyway, we got to wrap this up. We will see each other. We'll not really see each other, but kind of through our minds see each other, hear each other next week for another face-off where you're putting something together. The legacy of Bill Belichick and his.
Oh yeah, I've already got. I can tell you 6 coaches.
Well, we'll put it together because this is something that we can do at another time. But it's a good thing. I want to look at it. I want to look at your list before we do it because I got to prepare myself better than I did this podcast, dude.
Oh,
Besides, they don't throw snowballs. San Diego Chargers fans don't throw snowballs in at Santa Claus or boo them because they're laid back, right? That was Philadelphia. So anyway, that's a notch up for Andy Reid playing in that town. All right, we'll see you in a little bit here. Have a good one.